Okay, so I'm not saying I'm a bit grumpy about the priest tree, but I'm a little grumpy. Okay, so I'm gonna do the base tree first because this would be, I think, what I would do for almost regardless between holy and discipline, and actually no, discipline and shadow would be very similar. Holy would have its own thing, but for holy, renew is big. That's very nice. And if you have the option, then I would definitely say these two talents. Because Paramedic has a 25% chance to leave Renew. Renew increases your healing. Very nice. And having Paramedic, it's only 6%, which definitely feels more like a raid talent where you have more jumps or it jumps more often. Because in a lot of mythics, Paramedic won't jump a whole lot. But that 6% is kind of nice because that way you do get an extra jump and you might be able to get two going at once. Not not the strongest possibility, 6%. So extra mana, increased mana regen is big. Gives you ability to cast more often, do more spells, not have to worry about going in the middle of a boss fight or just pain pools. I do know that Smite's good. You have like two spells that you can use as a Holy Priest to attack. Pain, okay, three. I'm sorry. Smite, Pain, and Holy Fire. And Smite doing extra damage is really nice. If it doesn't consume as much mana as it does, like if it stays not in a whole lot of mana, this would be nice. And depending on how you play, you don't even need to pick this up, or I wouldn't say you need to pick this up. Because this whole left side, not gonna touch it. Not even going to look at it. Don't wanna. I know the rest of it. Holy Nova, Holy Nova. Smite deals more damage. Cool. Only when you're shielded. And as a priest, the power word shield, I don't use it. I really don't. Because what I would normally do, the current system, is you pick up like Feather. And Purify Diseases. Kind of have to have it. I don't say you don't need it, but having that Purify Disease is nice. Depending. Because right now for Tear to Pain, Product Wake, and Plaguefall, those are good to have. But I think mages, priests, dispel, their friendly dispel can get rid of a disease and a magical effect. So unless they change what Purify does, this wouldn't be necessary unless you're a Shadow Priest. I would recommend that for Shadow Priest. I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on Shadow Priest. I'd have to reach out to someone who's a better Shadow Priest than I am to get thoughts, but that's more of a util pickup. That's util pickup because priests have no goddamn movement. But Power Infusion is, I feel like it's a must. I have a lot of points going on here. So let's redo that. I don't care for Focus Mandate. I just don't. 7. I don't care for these. We're not going to do Holy Nova, Improved Holy Nova. Holy Nova does more damage while shielded. No. Renew heals additional 5% and its mana is down by 10%. That's big, but I can't justify the rest of this. Like Holy Nova doesn't do a whole lot of damage unless they change Priest Mastery to, instead of being you heal for a percentage of heal on that target. I think it's not Trail Light. No. Holy Priest Mastery is when you heal something, you leave a hot on them that heals. I think it ends up being twice for a percentage of that heal. So unless they change that to be, instead of healing, it's shielding, then I could see Holy Nova being worth it. Especially coupled with Renew. If Renew gave instead of so if it was overhealing, if the target was at 100% and Renew would to tick, or the mastery for Holy Priest would be, instead of healing the target, it gave overshield, then then this would be worth it. But as of right now, I can't justify Holy Nova. I can't justify improved Holy Nova. Yeah, it does 50% less damage to all targets. Eh. And it caps at 5 targets. I can't justify that. Smite doing 10% while shield it, I guess that's cool, but again, I don't foresee myself being shielded enough to justify that. The only thing is good is the renewal and this. This is huge. That's it's the reverse of Shadow Word Death. Shadow Word Death is your execute. Well, the target's below 20% life, you do a crap ton of damage with that. And this is if your healing target's below 20%, you heal for 150%. But if it's not, you take that damage. Which is the holy priest equivalent of Shadow Word Death. I can't justify picking up these two talents just to get to. So what I would do instead is take your smite, take Power Fusion. Power Fusion's really good. Really nice to have. Master Spell is a must. Unfortunately, because there's always so many boss fights or so many things that do AoE magical effects. So just having that is really nice. And the mana cost of Dispel, Purify, Master Spell reduced by 20%. I would almost want instead of mana, I would almost want the cooldown reduction of Purify and Master Spell to be reduced by 20%. I would 100% be more okay with Master Spell being the same mana cost, but I can use it quicker rather than it costing less. And this, you kind of have to pick this up because Sun Priestess it's really good, or at least in the groups I run with, where the other person, one of the DPS I run with, is a Shadow Priest main, and they'd pick that up, and we'd have two targets. Each priest would have a different target that can have Power Infusion, including himself. So if we have two priests running Twins of the Sun Priestess, there are 4 targets that can have Power Infusion, which is 3 DPS and the healer. The tank doesn't really need it. The tank will probably be happy if they got it, but they don't need it. And Power Infusion, Priest Haste for 20 seconds at 25 is, especially since that Bloodlust is only a 30% increase. So this is a mini Bloodlust for yourself or a different target if you only pick this up, or for 2 targets, yourself and an additional target. Half of it would be 12%. 12% haste is still huge, even if you don't take that. Oh no, that grants you. Yeah, as a healer, I would just pick that up for giggles. I don't even need to pick that up. Okay, no, let's leave it like that, because that's pretty much what I would do anyways. And this is the weird part, because I really would want to go into like these for the holy, but I just can't. Powered shield does not provide enough to warrant any of this. Like if I cast powered shield on someone, I get 10% of shield. That's not a whole lot. Currently, powered shield, if I'm not mistaken, only shields like a few thousand, and then you get weakened soul for 8 seconds. I think it takes 8 seconds, but I can't like again like this side. I can't justify this. I would much rather. I'd 100% go into this side. So we have 15 points left. So Mind Blast would be good. You don't need Shadow Word Death, honestly. Not as a Holy Priest. Fun to have, yes. Worth. Twisted Fate's really good. That's kind of like an oh shit heal. Oh shit. That's kind of like your. If someone's below 35%, you get increased healing for 10 seconds. So if you're able to heal someone most likely a DK tank or someone that fluctuates a lot, or oh shit moments, you heal someone below 35% life, and you get increased healing by 20%. 20% increased healing for 10 seconds is worth. That's big. Shadow Fiend. It's nice to see Shadow Fiend coming back for Holy Priest. Or it's a general talent. And then you can take Improved Shadow Fiend, where Shadow Fiend gives mana per hit. And then if you go into Mindbender, Mindbender does give less mana, but it is, I think it can attack quicker, or you can make it attack quicker. Base, if you can't get to these two, then don't take Mind. It lasts for 15 seconds, and it provides 1% mana, whereas Mindbender is out for less time and it provides less mana. So if you can get Mindbender and you can get at least to that, then do that. That's good. 10% increased attack speed, it does make that Mindbender worth it. And Shadow Flame Prism would be a nice pickup. However, I don't know the cooldown of Mind Blast off the top of my head. I do think it's like 5 seconds? Question mark. So at best you can get this, you'd be able to get that off twice, which would be a nice bump of damage. Oh, but it does increase the duration of Shadow Fiend. So would almost need that. This almost makes it seem like they're going to increase the cooldown. So I think Mind Blast is on a 7-second cooldown, I do believe, but with the way that looks, that Mind Blast cooldown reduced by 7.5 seconds, it almost seems like they're increasing the cooldown, or they will increase it. They wouldn't make it a constant cast, that'd be too dumb. So actually, what we do 3 points left, 4 points. Nowhere else that I just want to get to mind games. Does that work? What did we lose? Purify, These Angelic Feather, Damage Prevention, and Mending. This is okay. I'll take that trade off. Cooldown on Mind Blast is increased. I kind of hate the fact that I did pick up Shadow Mend. Because Shadow Mend is not a good. I don't foresee it healing enough for being worth it. Because the thing with that Shadow Mend is that you can heal the target, but they'll take damage. So if Shadow Mend healed as much as either heal or flash heal, then that would be worth. But if I had to choose off the top of my head, or right now, I don't think I would do that. I would still go back to get rid of Shadow or Death, so I don't have to use the 2 talents to get to where I was. I just use the 1. Dissipate extra healing, Shadow Fiend, improve Shadow Fiend, switch to Mindbender. Mindbender has increased attack speed, and Mind Blast. Oh, Mind Blast and Shadow Word Death. Oh. I don't remember the cooldown. I think cooldown on this is a lot longer. I think that's almost 20 seconds, 15, 20 seconds. So you cast Mind Blast and Shadow Word Death. You Mind Blast, and then you instantly go into casting Battle Ward Death, and you get 2 additional seconds on your Shadow Fiend. And Shadow Fiend does 2 attacks, slashing 5 enemies. Up to 5 enemies. Hard caps at 5 enemies. So that means it puts it out for 14 seconds. That might be a talent depending on how you build it. If you can get to that, then yeah, for surely pick that up. Or if you're doing, if the Mythic Dungeons stay with like Fortified Tyrannical, then if it's like a Fortified week, then for surely gain that would be really good. But personally, I would either do that, go down to. If I didn't pick up that, I would probably pick up these 2. Controls mind up to 1 level above you for 30 seconds. Then you may also control your own character, which means you get a pet. Do that, and you can. It's kind of like the Death Knight equivalent of Control Undead. So let's just go back to that. Just say that's what we're gonna do. Then Fade, take reduced damage by 10%. That's, I don't think Fade does that regardless. And just having that, just having a priest ability to reduce reduce damage by 10%, not a whole lot, but in the long run, I think that'd be just as a priest to mitigate whatever damage might be coming your way. If you're a Shadow Priest, you'd have Dispersion, so you can probably pop Fade, then Dispersion quick enough to mitigate a lot of damage. Or Holy Priest. What do you have for a Holy Priest? Desperate Prayer. And that's it. You renew yourself, Desperate Prayer, and you'd have Holy Word Serenity, but I don't think you would want to use Holy Word Serenity on yourself. So having Fade would be nice. So I am aware that if we do take this, it would be beneficial to pick up that. So with that in mind, you can either take. I would say you can take this. However, if you do pick up this would be a good pickup. Or Mind Games is just fun. Games, it just seems like a nice little utility where instead of being able to kick something to prevent a heal, you can Mind Games it if you can cast it quick enough, or cast it before it does it. And Mind Games, any healing would be damage, any damage would be healing. So it's just a nice little way to do some damage and to do some either damage mitigation to your tank or to your group, or any healing mitigation to the other enemies. But if you don't want to pick that up, then you definitely wouldn't need that. Definitely wouldn't need that. So you can take that. Okay, so let's just assume they make Power Word Shield worth it. %20 of the damage absorbed. 20% of, I think Power Word Shield heals for, or shield for, like, let's say 5,000. So reflecting 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. I know that's a fifth, but about 1,000. Unless this scales, but 514 isn't a whole lot. I'm just gonna continue to say go for that damage mitigation. Because 10%, if it's 5,000, it would only be 500. The Holy Tree. Holy Tree, I'm actually really happy about. partially. Because this crap right here, get the fact that you have to, if you want Holy Word Sanctify, you have to go into Prayer of Healing. I don't use Prayer of Healing. I don't think it's worth it. I think it is. It costs too much mana and it doesn't heal enough to worth. As of right now, currently, if you, as a Holy Priest, I think Circle of Healing heals enough, heals equal amounts of Prayer Healing, and it's instant. So, yeah, to get to that, you need to do it. So, let's just go through it. Holy Word Serenity, big pickup, yes. Holy Fire, yes, you do that, it's fun. Greatly Healing, Holy Fire is a damage ability, but it's kind of nice to have. If you don't pick this up, and you don't take Chastise, you have, the only damage abilities you have are Smite, Pain, Holy Nova is no longer a thing, Blast. Is Mind Blast? I don't think Mind Blast is in current Holy. I have to double check that. Currently in Holy. So, Chastise is a good stun. It is really the only kick Holy Priest will have if it can be stunned. I kind of wish this one would be, instead of stunning it, it would be, if the target can be stunned, it's stunned. If the target can't be stunned, he's silenced. Because after that, you have Psychic Extreme. Ooh, Psychic Extreme. I don't really give. Oh, you do have Psychic Extreme as base, I think. But that stun is nice to have. When you. Honestly, Rayleigh Healing is. It's nice when you can, since you can heal the previous target. So if you're switching between the tank and someone else, you go tank, let's say DPS. Then the tank gets 35% of the healing, and then you switch back to the tank again, you heal the tank for the full spell, and then your DPS will get 35% of that other healing. Which is really nice, especially if you have, you know, a hunter or a rogue saying and stuff that takes damage often enough, and you keep renew on them, they keep on getting that proc of trail healing. Guardian Spirit is really, it prevents the death, increases healing by 6%, and it would prevent a death and puts them to 40%. Can that save the target from massive damage? I think that would be in the case of raid mechanics or boss mechanics, where it's like, oh, it's like a lethal hit, where you're going to take, I think currently, a crap ton of healing, a lot of damage would be closer to, let's say, 200,000. The tank can have up to 100,000 life. A geared healer or geared DPS can have up to close to 70,000. Let's just say 200,000, and if that damage were to be the good mechanic, a good example would be in the SLS streets, the mail room, where you have to group up on the gold phase or the gold horns. So instead of just having that person raw off the side and you give them Guardian Angel, Guardian Spirit, it doesn't prevent that death, but it would keep the healing. And the fact that we have every spell, every talent, and we can't get to the next row means we have to pick up Prayer of Healing, which I'm okay with because I like Holy Word Sanctify. It's a nice pick. I do like the fact that Guardian, I don't know if that's current or if that's the talent, but I do know that if it prevents healing, you lose the wings, gives the target wings, I call it. So since it prevents, if it would prevent it, it doesn't go away. And if it does not save anyone, period, the cooldown reduction is by 6. I think it's a 3 minute cooldown. So getting half the cooldown off if it doesn't prevent a death is really nice. Surge of Light gives free healings. Your healing spells and might have an 8% chance to make the next flash shield instant. Also mana. That I think is really good. The fact that it just has your healing spells, so you have Renew, Prayer Mending. If you pick up Holy Word, Sanctify, Circle of Healing, Divine Star, Heal, Flash Heal, yeah, like all that, and Smite. So 8% isn't a whole lot, but that's still really good. Next twice that I have. I don't think you need Holy Conductor. As an additional 12% chance, that's 20%. You have a 20% chance to cast it per spell. If affected by Renew or Smite or Holy Fire. I don't think it's worth it. The 12% is nice, but I don't want to put 2 points into that when I can put it somewhere else. And I want to pick up Circle Healing. It's a nice heal. And reduce the cast time of your prayer healing by 25%. But that puts it at 50%. It just says 25% for 8 seconds. I'm assuming it's either 25 per or up to 25, so like 12%, then 25%. But reducing the cost time and the cost, cast time and cost by 50%, or even 25% would be nice, because you cast Circle of Healing on the run, and then next time you get a chance to stop moving, you can cast it. But I kind of want it to be Circle of Healing and Holy Word Sanctify, because Sanctify is right below Prayer of Healing, so I kind of wanted Prayer of Healing to be buffed in a way by. When you cast Prayer of Healing and by 2 seconds. What? Wait, whoa, what? Cooldown reduced by 6 seconds when you cast Prayer of Healing and by. You cast Renew? That's different. Okay, so let me ask you this. Does Prayer Mending benefit from. I don't think so, because you're not casting it. Prayer Mending leaves it and doesn't say cast it. So. I'm finally glad they changed the goddamn wording of Binding Heal, but in raid content or mythic groups, I don't foresee this being good. In PvP, I can foresee that being a lot better, because I think max for PvP is, if you do arenas, it's 3v3, and that would be pretty much your raid group. You and then the 2 other people. So that would be good for that, and then you can also pick up Psychic Voice for PvP, but I don't do PvP. I'm not a whole fan of PvP. Not my best. Spirit Redemption is really nice if you die or you get, something looks at you funny and you die. You stay alive for 15 seconds and you. Really nice. Can't do damage, can't move, doesn't matter. A lot of healing for free for 15 seconds. And the fact that you can use. This one allows you to use Spirit Redemption by increasing the duration by 50% and range of spells by 50%. As Spirit Redemption, you may sacrifice your spirit to resurrect an ally, putting yourself to rest. So, the way I saw this first is you are an angel for 50% longer, which puts it at like 22 seconds. Let's just say 7 seconds, 22 seconds. And then at, let's say, the 20-second mark, and sacrifice yourself to B-res. You priests finally have a goddamn B-res. And then you can B-res, like, let's say, a druid, a warlock, a death knight. Then they could B-res you. Currently, there you have 3 B-reses on cooldown for the party, I think. Could be mistaken, but there should be at least other B-reses available. So you could do that. Since you're already dead, it wouldn't matter, so you can use that to get someone else up, and then hopefully they might be able to get you up if you're in a raid group or mythic group that has that or PvP, which would be really big. But this is the only thing I would pick up from this side, because Cosmic Ripple, Brandy or Holy Word Sanctify finish cooldown. I do like that. I do have that talent currently, but oh no. Divine Hymn, I'm so sorry. Divine Hymn is really worth it. So the fact that you get every time this comes off cooldown or this comes off cooldown, you get a free little cast of healing is really nice. And if the mastery talent or mastery stat works the same way, then it's the healing from Cosmic Ripple plus percentage of healing again. Really nice. Not gonna do any of these choice nodes. Shining Force, no. Psychic Stream, no. Don't Psychic Stream unless you really have to. Divine Star mainly. If it's a raid group, I'd probably pick up Halo. Halo is a bigger radius. Or he does it does about the same amount of healing total, but it's AoE and the cooldown's longer. Healing reduced by beyond 6 stars. Okay, Divine Star makes more sense though. But the fact that you get reduced healing beyond 6 targets, I feel like that's kind of dickish. But I would still do Divine Star, more controllable. You're not going to send that sucker off in a Narnia and accidentally pull another group or something. It kind of feels like Barrage, where Halo is too uncontrollable, too wide, 30 yards, has potential to pull at least one other group of enemies. If you're in a mythic dungeon, rogue dungeon, in a raid, you don't have as high as a chance, and it's better for raiding because as a priest, you don't have a whole lot. Symbol of Hope. I think Symbol of Hope's good. I definitely don't want to go into this one, but we do. I didn't want to do any of the other talents. I didn't think they were worth. We need at one point Light of Naru. Yes, I would definitely pick that up. I do think I picked that up in the end, at least the one talent, because I would reduce the cooldown of Sanctify when casting Renew, and we're going to be using a lot of Renew. This one is Might, but that is. Oh yeah, so an additional 30%. So that's an additional 5 seconds per cast of Smite. It's just nice to have a nice little stun as well. You're seeing something chasing after you, and you can just, stun it real quick. Symbol of Hope, I want the wording a bit different, or there'd be a tooltip for that. Because it says it bolsters morale of red members within 40 yards, and they recover 60 seconds of a major defensive ability. Now, what is major defensive abilities? Is it just any defensive ability that's over, say, a minute long or a minute cooldown? I know for Paladins that's Ardent Defender, Blessing of the Kings, maybe Blessing of the Sacrifice in your bubbles, but which one takes priority? Because it says 60 seconds of cooldown of a major ability, so it's only one. I do know for Death Knights it would probably be Vampiric Blood or Icebound Fortitude. Yeah, it's a defensive cooldown. It's a talent, but it's a defensive cooldown. I just kind of wish there was a tooltip to specify what is a defensive cooldown. And I think Rogues just got something similar where it is they reduce cooldown of offensive abilities. Now what's considered a major offensive ability, what's considered a major defensive ability. Or like just some clarification. If it's just any cooldown, then it kind of feels weird because 60 seconds off pi. Yeah, that's big. Or what's a mediocre defensive or like they're just kind of feeling cooldown would be nice. Well, I think for rogues they got it a bit better, but the fact that you have to channel this, 15% of your mana, really good. And reduce the kill, just more Holy Fire. Reduce the cast time of Holy Fire and reduce the cooldown by 50 seconds and 40 seconds respectively. So cast time of Holy Fire is like a second. Let's say 2 seconds. 2 seconds with no haste. So you put that down to a second as is, and the cooldown reduction by 40%. That is 5, give or take, probably a bit longer, but And the fact that Holy Word Fire now reduces the cooldown of Chastise. Even better, because then that would benefit from this talent, I hope. I hope. It wouldn't be fair, it wouldn't make sense for it to say cooldown reduction, and this that increases that by more, but you don't benefit from it for whatever reason. Smite deals 30% additional damage to targets affected by Holy Fire. Holy Nova deals 30%. Eh? Okay, so the Holy Nova part kind of lackluster, we don't pick it up, and I definitely don't see Holy Fire or Holy Nova being that boosted by 30% damage. Granted, the next talent makes it kind of worth it, but the fact that you can, if you Smite does 30% damage and then Smite does 50% more damage, so Smite will be doing a lot more damage, and refreshes Holy Fire. Your next 3 casts of Holy Fire cost no mana, or no cooldown, cast instantly. And that spell is a 30-second cooldown passive. Whenever Holy Fire is reapplied, its duration is now extended. So, if you pick this up, you kind of almost have to pick this up, which I am, because gained four targets. If you have cast this, and then you refresh, you get 3 new Holy Fire, so you can have up to 4 targets with Holy Fire doing damage. And if you had Holy Nova, I guess that would make Holy Nova do a lot more damage, because it'd be 30%, I'm sorry, 30% more damage to 4 targets. And then that would, you can also do this where it pops a second time. That seems like a lot of work just to make Holy Nova worth. Or if you did this on a boss, Holy Fire, I think Holy Fire does damage for 7 seconds. Okay, so it's extended instead. So if you cast Holy Fire on a boss 4 times, technically you would have it on 28 seconds. Almost duration of that cooldown. I think if you had a little bit of haste, that would also reduce the cooldown of this, possibly. So you'd pretty much be able to have that on cooldown and have Holy Fire have 100% uptime on a kill. And spell that reduce the cooldown of a Holy Word by 20% more. Okay, I want this just for, I want to try, I'm just going to go down this way. Okay, what? 1 point. Okay, 1 point, done. So, Divine Words. The effectiveness of your Holy Word, Serenity, Sanctify, and Chastise increased by 50%, grants 1 corresponding Divine Favor for 15 seconds. 1 minute cooldown. You know that's fine. Oh, something move. Why am I seeing things move? Flash Shield, Heal and Renew, heal more, critically strike more often, and cost less mana. That, kinda, but well, I guess that does work. If you Power Infusion and then you cast this with Flash Heal, the fact that you can cast it fine with that Flash Heal. 25% haste, and yeah, and Flash will be healing more, and pretty more. Yeah, crit as a Holy Priest, I don't think does a whole lot. I think you'd rather have versatility and actually have that benefit of more base healing increase rather than crit healing. Sanctify Bless is the area where it casts Healing Eyes. That's what I would want. I just want to play with that. That's pretty much it. Increases damage and Smite has a chance to apply Holy Fire. I didn't even notice that. I didn't read past Sanctify. So this plus this is what you have to do. Or I guess if you want to do damage, that would be the way to do it. That would be a lot of. Let's go with the other ones. Cosmic Ripple has heals 50% more and restores 3% mana. I think if Divine Words wasn't as good as I thought, actually no. We could do that. We already got 20% from this. So 1% of your mana every time Cosmic Ripple comes off cooldown. Sanctify, Chastise. Oh, it's not Chastise. Just Serenity and Sanctify. Yeah, so this would be from Heal and Flash Heal. This would be from Pair of Healing and Renew. Yeah, we didn't take this. If Circle Healing just reduced the cooldown of Sanctify, I like that better. I would pick that up. 30% mana would be better, but as of right now, I think 1% would be more than enough, especially with that increased regen. If mana is a bit different next expansion, where you're going through it a lot often, a lot more quicker, or the pools are more consistent, then probably. Oh shit. Yeah. Probably get rid of Sanctify and do that. If this was a spell that didn't do global cooldowns, so you can tap that and then immediately cast like Serenity or something, then that would be worth. But if that invokes a cooldown or the global cooldown, then I probably wouldn't do it just for the just for the thought of not having to take more spells or have to worry about more spell rotation, spell cooldowns. Heals all allies for 40 yards, and Salvation is a talent currently. Put 2 stacks per mending on each of them. Cooldown reduces by 30 seconds when you cast Serenity or Sanctify. That is really good for raids, especially coupled with this and this, I guess. It also puts for new. And then does the cooldown of Holy Words in your pure form for 20 seconds, increasing the cooldown reduction of Holy Words by 300. And reducing their mana cost. So the fact that you get your Holy Words become instant cast, or come off cooldown, and then you can use them real quick. If it was raid, Salvation would be what I pick up. Currently, the other one, I don't use it. Don't see myself needing it. But Rune Mending, if I picked up one of them and I can get that, then yeah. As well as what? Oops, probably Holy Word Sanctify. But if you picked up these two, then I would almost say you have to pick up this. Would be that, I guess. In raids, you probably wouldn't pick that up. You wouldn't pick that. Or we do that. And yep, Circle of Healing, yeah, that would be what I picked. For I guess more towards raids or not as much damage to the build. But Jesus. All the things. As of right now, I don't know how that's going. I want to wait to see how that works. Divine Hymn heals for an additional 20%. Stacks of Divine Hymn increase healing by an additional 4%. Lightwell, if Lightwell either had more than 15, Lightwell seems like it'd be nice, but if it only has 15 stacks, it lasts 3 minutes for 15 stacks. That means that would be 5 stacks a minute. to have light wall the whole time, but every 1 second, light wall attempts to heal party member, raid member within 10 yards that are lower than 50%. Over 6 seconds. So that's not even a big heal or whatever. That's kind of like it renews that hero or that ally. I don't. If it either didn't last as long and healed more. So if it was like, if it lasted a minute and a half, had a 3 minute cooldown, and healed for like over 8 seconds or a bit longer, new last 15 seconds. I just, depending on how much light wall we heal, I don't foresee that useful in mythics. Thinking about current mythics, depending on how you run them or how you play them, I think light will be kind of wasted unless you use it to heal yourself or if you put it in melee range. But I think a holy priest would have better options to heal groups, especially if you have Circle of Healing, Divine Star, Sanctify. Prayer of Healing, I guess, but you have Renew, Prayer Mending. You have a lot more other options. Lightwell, as cool as interesting as I want Lightwell to be, I cannot foresee myself using it unless it heals like a great amount of healing. If it did, like if it healed for the same amount Holy Word Serenity does over 6 seconds, then yes, I would pick that up in a heartbeat. That would be that would be great. But I foresee this having balancing issues and not being powerful enough to warrant that. In raids, I think that'd be better in raids, especially since it goes with the Gales of Song. But in raids, I think have better options or other options to raid heal. Because you have shamans, you have druids, are really great at. Priests and paladins are better. I feel are better equipped for group healing or utility in some. Paladins have aura mastery. Priests would have divine hymn, but shamans have healing surge or healing tide. I'm sorry, and shamans have coding. So I don't see Lightwall being better, especially if it's a raid and you want to do better. If you want to get more raid healing, I would almost say Salvation, Rune Mending, and because this would so this heals. It puts a holy ground down. Plus is the area where the cast healing allies. So this has a minute cooldown, and every time you cast Sanctify, you can Sanctify, let's say, under the boss, under a group, to heal some damage, top up some players. But Lightwell, I don't. Good. I would probably pick it up to test it, but in all honesty, the these three spells are kind of. I want this Rune of Healing, especially under being below circulating. I think that would be a lot better. But I get rid of that. Just get rid of that completely. Put this below Circle Healing. That way, if you want to pick it up and you want that, it would feel better. Because all the other priest towns are like, oh, if you pick up Guardian Spirit, you can then pick up Guardian Angel. So like Guardian Angel's not gonna be down here or some shit. Actually, I guess it'd be Afterlife. I can see why Guardian Spirit of Redemption isn't up there. But take Afterlife, put Afterlife here. Switch this one to here, and then switch this one to here. Just rotate these all around. That way, the one that buffs Circle Healing is below Circle of Healing. The one that buffs AoE damage is kind of off to the side where you don't need to pick it up and you don't need to. And I feel like this is really powerful for being at this row compared to like Cosmic Ripple, Circle of Healing, Divine Star, Binding Heals, Surge, Guardian Angel. I would almost prefer Afterlife to be down here. But Afterlife down here, Rune of Healing here, and then Pair of Circles. Pair of Circle right there. Or hell, even put fucking Circle of Healing right here. And then put Light of Naru over here. That way, no matter what side you go on, you can get one of the benefits to do it. And if you're already going down here, then you'd be going towards, I guess, the AoE healing regardless. Because if you're going down this path, kind of like the AoE side, I guess raid side, oh shit side, but those are my thoughts for this tree. I do like the tree a lot more than the Beastmaster tree, the Death Knight tree, but my one downside, the one thing I don't like is this whole side and this portion right here alongside the spell. Like, ooh, actually, yeah. Resonant words can also be put here. Switch those two would also be nice. Because by that time, if you get to... Yeah. Switch Resonant Words with Afterlife. That'd be a good switch. Because that would still be on like the healing side rather than the damage side. And by the time you can get to Afterlife, you already have at least 3 holy words. Or at least 2? 3 if you take them all. Because when we started this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So you have to take all 8. No matter what path you take. Because if we don't take Guardian Spirit, we have to take Spirit Redemption. If we don't take Light, we still have 3 words. Which I think that'd make a lot more sense to change the location of Resonant Words and Rune Healing with put Rune Words here and Resonant Words here, and put Afterlife here and Prayer of Circle right there. But those are just my thoughts.